Balancing staff pose. Bikram calls it balancing stick. In Sanskrit, it's Tula Dandasana. That's the pose we're going to tutorial today. Hi everyone, if this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Barkan and been teaching Hatha Yoga for 40 years. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. It really helps out the channel and I appreciate that. So we're going to head over to the studio with Barkan teacher Janice to demonstrate this pose. But before we go over there, I want to talk to you a little bit about this position. First of all, in our particular style of yoga, we look through the arms. And other styles of yoga, particularly the Krishnamacharyan lineage, they look over the arms. Now, by looking through the arms, I believe, and I'm not saying it's better, it's just different, we're creating a length of the spine, a length of the thoracic. So when I first moved, I'll share a little story with you. When I first moved to Fort Lauderdale, I developed asthma. I had actually bronchitis, and out of bronchitis, I got asthma. So I went to this specialist up in New York, and he was telling me that asthmatics, when they're having an attack, the rib cage flares up, and that pushes the diaphragm down. It doesn't allow the diaphragm to manipulate up through the rib cage, which will help breathing easier. Also, you get mucus that gets stuck into the bronchial tubes. So they take an inhaler or a dilator to open up those tubes, and that allows more air passage. Well, this does the exact same thing because we're lengthening the spine. The diaphragm can easily manipulate up and through. So when I would do this position, especially when I was asthmatic, and I would actually inhale through the mouth, even though proper yoga breathing should be in and out through the nose. But because of this technique that he taught me in New York, I would inhale through the mouth. It would be like taking an inhaler. And then the diaphragm would manipulate through the rib cage, and I could feel the mucus coming up. I know it sounds disgusting, but all of a sudden I got relief from my asthma. So this posture is wonderful for respiratory and cardiac benefits. So why did I change it from stick to staff? Because the danda literally translates to staff. Do you ever see the yogis? They walk around with these big sticks, these big staffs. It's one of the most important symbols in Hatha Yoga because the staff, or the danda, represents the Sushumna Nadi. This is the center channel. This is where the energy begins to flow. And this is how we evolve in Hatha Yoga. This particular staff was given to me by a teacher training program. Normally, the symbol of it is that when the disciple is initiated by the guru, he hands him the staff to symbolize his journey or his sadhana, his path of taking the energy up the spine, up the danda. This, however, was given to me by a teacher training program. It's a very sentimental gift. I just wanted to share that with you. So we're going to head over to the studio with Barkan teacher Janice, and we're going to demonstrate this posture along with beginning modifications. So let's head over to the Fort Lauderdale studio and get started. So here we are at the Fort Lauderdale studio with the wonderful assistant Janice, and we're going to do balancing staff pose or Tula Dandasana. In the balancing staff pose, I don't want you to use the wall if you're used to using the wall as a modification. For example, in standing head to knee, Janice would use the wall if she needed it, and her standing leg would face the wall. So her right leg that she's kicking out with, go ahead, pick up your right foot, she's going to extend it out because her standing leg is against the wall. And the same thing, so I'll have her change and do the other side, she would face me and do the left side that way. Yeah, same thing with standing bow. If you're using the wall for your assist, I had to do that with Dan Marino when he was coming off of his Achilles tendon surgery. You can hear all about that in this video that we just recently did. Or the standing bow, so she would face this direction, so her standing leg is to the wall, and then she'd pick up her right foot from the inside. So those are great modifications. But for balancing staff pose, I don't want you to use the wall. This is where you start to find where your balance is. I'm going to have Janice come to the back of the mat. Arms overhead. She steps with her. Let's have her step with your right foot first. And let's just say her foot comes off the ground just an inch or two, and that's as far as she can maintain her balance. And then she comes back again. And that's where you play with your balance. That would be the modification. So you just don't want to come forward with a rounded spine. Do that, Janice. If you come forward with a rounded spine, this is not going to help you. You've got to stay lifted. So the key about the balancing staff pose is you've got to keep your back straight. Don't round to go further. So watch Janice. She's going to interlace her fingers, index finger release, right leg steps. And with a straight back, she's going to come down. But let's say you can't come down any further. You have to round. So I'm going to have her round her spine on purpose in an incorrect way. And come down this way, you're not getting the same benefit. She's better off staying higher with a straight back and not going down as far. So make sure your back and neck vertebrae are in line. Now I'm going to have Janice come down to the full position. If you're advanced enough where you can get to a parallel or a T-shaped position, she steps with her right leg. Down she goes. And what she wants to think about is her hands touching the front wall, her back foot touching the back wall at the same time. So she's extending in both directions, forward and backward. So now we magically turn to the other side. I'm going to have Janice stop with her left foot. She's going to lift her chest, and down she goes to where her whole body's parallel to the floor. Now, as an advanced person, you can start dropping this right hip down to keep the leg up, so your hips are square. And now what I want you to think about doing is touching your chest to the front wall so that this is going to happen. You see that motion again? This forward through with your chest. Look how nice and flat her upper back is now. The feeling you want to have is like somebody's pulling you forward and backwards. So you're always going to come into the shot, and she's going to help out. So here she comes, arms overhead. She steps forward. I'm going to grab her hands. Julia's going to grab her foot, and we're going to pull her both directions. Get this the old torture chamber traction machines. Forward and backward. Feels really great for the spine. And now for what I call Purna Tula Dandasana, or full balancing staff pose, which we do in the advanced class. If you're interested in our advanced teacher training programs, I will put applications in the description below. So here Janice is going to bring her arms overhead. She steps with her leg out. And now the arms are going to come out like full locust arms. As she lowers her body down, her leg comes up in the air. Chin up, arms out, leg straight, and you got to keep looking at yourself in that mirror. And look how nice that looks, nice and pretty. And that is Tula Dandasana, balancing staff pose, beginning and advanced. So that's our episode for today. Thank you for joining us. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell, smash the like button. It really helps out the channel, and I appreciate it. Any questions you have or struggles with this post, put them in the comments below. I get to all the comments. And I thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye, everyone.